So now we're going to work on the arpeggio, and we can either take our chord progression with our MIDI region and then use the Arpeggiator, or we can make our own arpeggio, and then we're going to affect the sound design. So let's go over to Logic. So I have our little melody progression so far, so I'm going to play the first part of it. So what I'm going to do here is take our track with the chords, and then I'm going to duplicate it and then copy the region. And then I'm going to add an arpeggiator here. Actually, before I do that, typically what I do is I go to a preset library that I made. I made all of these presets here. And I just kind of mess around with what they are. Now, since you don't have these presets, I'm not going to use them in this track. But what I'd recommend doing is if you find a sound that you like, save it. And that being said, I'm going to save this lead sound right here because I like it. So to do that, you'd go to Setting and then Save Channel Strip As. And I'll call this Sharp Wobbly Lead Synth. So now instead of going through that design process, I can take this synth again, and I don't need to use it in the same way, but it'll be easier to make adjustments rather than start from scratch the whole time. Anyway, so now I have my duplicated thing. And since we're actually not going to do that, I'm going to delete this and try this again. So I'm going to change, I keep duplicating it. I'm going to add a new track. So I click this button right here, software instrument, Retro Synth, great. It'll be dry and we can add our effects. So it's loud, I'm going to turn this down. And what I'm going to do is make these higher because I want the arpeggio to be higher pitch notes. So I'm going to go first, before I arpeggiate, I'm going to go to Transposer, and I can just put this up an octave, which is right here. Still kind of loud, I'm going to turn this down. So I'm going to keep this here. Going up by 12 or multiples of 12 will keep it in the exact same key. So I'm going to keep that here, and then I'll do Arpeggio or Arpeggiator. This is the Arpeggiator. It's really cool. I don't always use it, but it's great for getting a quick arpeggio or to just get some ideas. So, and what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to go down to the MIDI. And we don't need this rhythm because our rhythm will come from the arpeggio. And I'm going to join these. I hit Command J to do that and drag it to the end. Same thing here. And then same thing here. I'm going to close out of this arpeggiator and I hit Y to get rid of that library so I have more screen real estate. Command J. Command J. Whoops. J. This process is a little bit tedious, but I think it's the quickest way that I can think of at the moment to accomplish what I'm trying to do. There we go. Command J. These ones are individual. What I might do here, actually, the way the arpeggiator works, it holds the same notes and it starts over if you start a new chord. So I might do is I might join these notes right here, because all I'm doing is going from this D sharp or E flat to the E natural. I'll extend this as well. And then I'll just extend this. And let's see what this sounds like with the arpeggiator. Wrong plugin. I like that. I'm going to change this down an octave because I think that was too high. Actually, I think it's just kind of too aggressive. So I'm going to keep it like this for now. We can always adjust. So I'm going to go to the Retro Synth now. And I'm actually going to do the table. I think this might give us some cool stuff, Wavetable. That's the filter that I'm turning on. And you can go through all the presets here. There's so many. Let's see. Shade of Dirt. Don't like that. Okay, I kind of like this. Let's see what this is. It's very high pitched. Let's see what it sounds like down. That's too low. All right, so what I'm going to do is cut some of these highs, or at least make them less insanely intense. And I'm also, there's like kind of this like boomy thing, and that is because it is there's no fade in at all. So I'm going to extend that a bit. With the amp. The amp, this is like how long it takes to get to maximum volume here. And then this is like how long it lasts. So right now I'm having it not last very long at all. And I kind of like that. So let's see what it sounds like all together. We're not done yet, by the way. And I'm going to name it, hold on, we'll call these chords ARP. So I like that a lot. What I'm going to do is add a little bit of compression to make sure that I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. So let's see what it sounds like. So that's fine. And then maybe a little bit crusher just to kind of fatten it up, but we'll see. So now I'm going to add a little bit of echo and reverb. But I'm not going to have this my default echo. I'm going to kind of make it a little bit louder and slower. So maybe like, that's too fast. You know what? Maybe the echo was a bad idea, and that's okay. But I will add some reverb to this. So we'll go to reverb. And I'm not going to overdo it, but it's going to sound nice and crystally and magical once we put the reverb on it. Let's try a large space. Hall, vocal hall, sure. Look, I'm just guessing. I have no idea what these sounds sound like. I mean, I think that sounds great. I think the reverb's a little too loud. So much better, night and day, with the reverb on. Anyway, sometimes I add some effects, but I think this is fine, to be honest. So let's see what this sounds like. I'm actually gonna try to turn the reverb up a little bit. And I might try to actually spread it out. So let's see, what are we looking like? I'm gonna do a multimeter. I usually add this at the end, but this is, the multimeter is kind of cool. So this kind of shows like, is your sound in the middle or is it wide? Well, I guess this is definitely not all in the middle. So that's fine. Yeah, let's leave it like this. Let's see what it sounds like one more time. So the arpeggio sound is not a huge upfront sound that you're going to hear, unless you want it to be that. But what I'm trying to do is have this be like a background element that would make the track feel a little bit empty if it wasn't there. So here's with it on. Now it's muted. Now it's back on. All right. Cool. So that was pretty quick for our arpeggio.